Welcome back, and we invite your comments on social media. The hashtag is the Modise Network. I'm joined by Mr. Tebogo Khaas again, and he's here representing the SME sector. He's president of the SME Forum. Recession, bad news, and the budget itself trying to balance all sorts of things. We've just had a brief conversation on the state of the SOEs, right, and the bailouts that they receive. What is going on with the economy, you think?
Well, a lot is going on with our economy, and unfortunately, all of it is not good. Very little, no matter how much hype or good talk we might get from the president, the finance minister, and so forth, in terms of talking it upbeat, very little is happening in terms of positive outcomes. Or we thought there were green shoots when President Cyril Ramaphosa came on board, but I think those green shoots were withered by the kind of unexpected pressures and things that came out, or after he assumed the presidency. And the economy is suffering, and not only because of non-performance locally or lack of low productivity, which is something I'm quite happy to talk about in terms of what the union's posture is, but it is also occasioned by the global economy. I mean, economic arbitrage can be very brutal, especially for a emerging economy and troubled economy such as ours, because ours, we've got a multitude of factors that are affecting economic performance, corruption being key, but also low productivity and a host of other things that are not conducive to actually salvaging the economic morass that we have inherited.
From the point of view of the SME sector and, well, a business point of view, what are the immediate things that you think can be done, should be done, maybe are not being done, but are ideas that can help get South Africa out of the current morass it finds itself in?
Yeah, I always say what needs to be done has long been said. You know, we all know what needs to be done in so far as the SME sector is concerned. It is in the doing that everybody is awaiting. And in that regard, I think I must also hasten to add that we are encouraged by the developments from the Gauteng provincial government itself. I mean, pursuant the State of the Province address, we believe that there are things that the provincial government is doing to actually ensure that they deliver on those SME-focused interventions or platforms that will help provide a sustainable environment for small business development. And I think it's something that we need to watch or embrace, but also at the same time watch to ensure that we encourage the provincial government to deliver in that regard.
Well, a thought crossed my mind, thinking about the recession, that probably there could be more action or more activity in the economy if the service providers and those who are doing business with government were paid on time. I wonder if the situation has improved. Are they being paid within the 14 days, 30 days that's been promised?
Far from it. The anecdotal evidence that we have is that the more things change, the more they remain the same. There are some pockets of improvement and excellence in some other instances. There are SOEs, if I'm allowed to mention, I can mention, I don't know if Telkom is still regarded as an SOE. Telkom has long been doing that very well. They've been paying their SMEs within 14 days, I believe, is still the case. We need to be able to encourage more to behave in such a manner, because it only helps SMEs themselves in terms of the management of their cash flow. But yes, a lot needs and can still be done insofar as payment of SMEs early is concerned.
You mentioned something about the Gauteng government, and that there are certain things are happening that are promising for the SME sector, but the SME sector is spread throughout the country. And this is something that I've been thinking about. But are there any indicators or key performance areas that have been set for premiers or provincial governments to perform and get the economy going? Because that seems to be of interest to at most 3 provinces, I think, Gauteng, Western Cape, and to some extent KwaZulu-Natal. So do the other provinces think they've got a role to play here to grow the economy?
Sadly, from our vantage, there's a lot of disconnect or lack of coordination between national departments and provincial departments, and then that cascades down to municipalities in terms of how they perform or how their attitude towards small business development. So far, we're still struggling to understand we understand what the role of the small business department ought to be. But whether it's delivering on that, from our vantage, we find it very lacking, and sadly so. And the intention is not to talk ill of government departments, but where they perform, we ought to encourage them. But where they fall flat or they fall behind, we need to be able to, the
economy is in recession as is, and the SME sector is in trouble, and there are many, many entrepreneurial people out there who are not going to sit back and say we're in a recession. They're not going to take chances. So what is your advice to them? What do you see in the economy that you think should encourage them to hang in there?
Hang in there. Hope runs eternal. The essence of it all is to ensure that you stay focused. It's not easy to say and to do, but it's for entrepreneurs to stay focused and to do right things the right way, and hope that through networking, through our work as the SME Forum, advocacy work that we're able to do, we can also accentuate the good that they do and be able to help encourage others to provide a helping hand. I mean, others, what is Tumamina if we're oblivious or impervious of the plight that is suffered by SMEs in Garankuwa or in Orlando or in Linyenye and Zanin, when we know what needs to be done, but it's not being done.
Tebogo Khaas, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for having been our guest.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Chair.
And he is the president of the SME Forum. And that's all we had for you. Thank you for joining the Modise Network, and we invite you to be with us again next week. From us, enjoy the rest of your day.